What's going on? This is Coach Marcus Pro Fan Talk. And listen, y'all, I'm up late. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, early Friday morning. And I see this come through. Indiana Fever get 41 national televised games. 41. They only play 44 in the regular season.
We're calling the plays, all right?
You got to listen and you got to execute.
I already feel good about me. I'm good.
Just call it.
So the WNBA is putting all their eggs in one basket. I don't know who divvies out the schedule, but for obvious reasons and scheduling conflicts, that seems to be the buzzword now because all these teams have scheduling conflicts, so they move into the bigger venues. Let's just keep it a buck. It ain't nothing wrong with it. You trying to maximize your intake. You trying to maximize the revenue you gonna get at the ticket sales. So if you think Caitlin Clark can fill a 17,000 seat arena, go for it. I ain't mad at that, but call it what it is. Don't call it a damn scheduling conflict. That girl puts butts in seats. Point, period, end of paragraph. So 41 games nationally televised. So look at the schedule. ABC, NBA TV, Prime Video, CBS, Ion, ESPN. So what you need to watch, not the streaming services, ABC, CBS, ESPN, Prime Video, not Prime Video. I'm looking at the major networks where you don't have to have a subscription. So you're talking about ABC or CBS, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got 8 times they're going to be on a national network. One of the regular networks where you don't need a cable subscription. Now, the next thing you go down to is ESPN. Because everybody, even if you got a basic cable package, you got ESPN. Now, where it gets wonky is if you looking at, like here, ESPN3, NBA TV, Prime Video. You need subscriptions for all of that, but regular ESPN. So just ESPN, not ESPN 2 or 3, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got 5 ESPN games, and almost every one of those games are prime time, 7:30 or 8 p.m. All of them are prime time. To me, here's what that means. And when I say they placing all their eggs in one basket, really, it's not the WNBA. Whoever's broadcasting the games, they ask for the games that they want. The broadcasters, the channels are saying, we want Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever. Now, that's great because they are trying to maximize their visibility, and Caitlin Clark is going to give you that. That cannot be disputed. But here's the issue. You got 3 teams right now. You got Indiana, you got Las Vegas, and you got New York. Those are the top 3 teams right now. Las Vegas was doing their thing before Caitlin Clark came on the scene. New York is New York. New York is always going to have a crowd because they're in New York, and they just won the title. So you get all of the buzz. They had a parade, and they had a good turnout. So everything worked the way it was supposed to work. Now you got all of this momentum going into this season, into the 2025 WNBA season. So now, my opinion, all of these other teams, Chicago, Connecticut, Minnesota, Dallas, Atlanta, DC with the Mystic, and I'm probably Seattle, Golden State, the Valkyries. All of these teams with all of these fans, y'all got to show up because this is the leverage that they need going into the CBA. The reason why they're going to get these numbers is because everybody loves Caitlin Clark. So the numbers are going to be through the roof, which means the averages are going to be through the roof. Average attendance is going to be up. Average viewership is going to be up. They're not stupid. So the numbers are going to be up with Caitlin Clark leading the way. Please stay healthy. Please stay healthy. So they hedging their bets on Caitlin Clark. Rightfully so. This is going to be the leverage they need in the CBA. That's why I say Caitlin Clark is going to pull in the numbers. She's box office guaranteed. But it's everybody else that's got to get their averages up. And I think the averages will go up. What am I talking about? Averages. Let's take a look. So you look at Chicago Sky, right? This is called acrosstimeline.com. And this is game by game attendance. Now, the one thing about Chicago, they play at Wintrust Arena that seats 10,300. That's the max. So when you see these numbers like 8,000, 9,000, that's pretty much a packed house. Connecticut, 9,000. So to me, as far as Chicago is concerned, anything above 8,000 is good. When you're talking about a 10,000 seat arena. Because if you're talking 2,000 people missing is all over the place. But for the most part, you're talking about 8 out of 10. You packed the arena, right? 9,000 versus Connecticut. Seattle, 7,800. And even if you in the 7,000s, that means there's a lot of people there. You can see this. There's a lot of people missing, but for the most part, you got a good home crowd. 7,900, 8,200 with New York, 8,800 with Atlanta. Dallas gives you 9,000. Indiana Fever, 98, 98.72. So they missing 1,000 seats. They missing about 500 seats because it seats 10,380 or something like that. That's packing them. What did I tell you? Las Vegas Aces. That's packing them. Minnesota, Atlanta. You got Wintrust Arena. Basically, they just about maxed out. So 8,000, 9,000, that's a good crowd for Chicago. So I'm expecting Chicago to have a couple of games. I guess, what is it? The United Center where the Bulls play? They're going to get a couple of games like that. You go to these other teams, look at, let's take Dallas. Dallas plays at College Park Center. College Park Center Arena, Arlington, Texas. Okay, 7,000 spectators. So they playing at a spot that only seats 7,000. So let's see what they got. 6,000 by attendance. So you gotta, numbers don't lie, but they do deceive. So when they throw numbers like this up and somebody on the outside, well, look, they only getting 6,000 people to come to their games. They don't get as much people. You got to look at the venue. You got to look at where they are. Numbers don't lie, but they do deceive. So if you're looking at, they only getting like 6,200 to come to their games, well, they in the 7,000 seat arena. So anything above 5,000, they doing pretty decent. They doing pretty good. Anything above 6,000, they pack. And then once again, you go down here, Indiana Fever, look, anything 6,251 because they seat 7,000, 6,251, 6,251. So they maxing out. Chicago comes to town, Minnesota, obviously Indiana, LA. So they doing all right because they got a smaller arena. So on the average, Dallas is pretty much packing their arena. Now see, Atlanta plays at, let's look at the Gateway Center Arena. Gateway Center Arena. All right. 3,500. 5,000 for concerts. 3,500 for basketball. Right? So let's take a look. 3,200, 3,200, 4,000. Now look at this. Indiana Fever. Boom. They go to State Farm Arena where the Hawks play. 17.5. I think State Farm Arena holds 18. And then you go back to normal. 3,200, 3,200, 3,200. What did I say? 5,000? 3,500 for the thing. So clearly they moving some seats around if they getting up to 4,000. They are maxing their capacity at Gateway Center Arena. And then Caitlin Clark comes to town, 17,000. So everybody is maximizing. And again, your girl came out talking about not like us, Renee Montgomery.
Y'all not like us. They not like us, okay?
Talking about we don't want them fans, and them fans pay. So you can't distinguish between whose money you get. It's gonna be a lot more games at the State Farm Arena, and they're gonna cash that check. We'll do one more. Let's do Seattle. Seattle Storm. They play at Climate Pledge Arena. Climate Pledge Arena. Capacity 18.3. Now this will give you a real look to see what Seattle is doing. 8,500. So that's less than half. You need at least 9,000 to fill it halfway up. So, but again, look who come to town. Caitlin Clark, 18,000. Caitlin Clark, 18,000. Las Vegas, 12,000. Chicago Sky, 11,000. 10,000. New York Liberty, 15,000. What did I tell you? Indiana, Las Vegas, and New York. The New York Liberty. LA Sparks, look at Las Vegas Aces, Phoenix Mercury, 14. You know when the big crowds are coming. Now, what needs to happen is, and I am sure that it'll go up a little bit, but they got to try to maximize that growth. All of these teams, all of these other teams, that's not Indiana, that's not Las Vegas, and that's not New York. All of those other teams got to get it out. Chicago, you either love Angel Reese or you hate Angel Reese. There is a huge contingency of people that love Angel Reese, but they got to be able to show up so they can move these numbers. Angel Reese has got to be able to move the needle. And it'll be interesting to see what Chicago does with her. She just got hurt. She just hurt that same wrist again. So she's going to go through that. So they're trying to put a team together. They got a new coach with Tyler Marsh. Camila Cardoso is killing it overseas right now. And it looks like she might be the go-to depending on how long Angel Reese is out. But all of them Chicago fans, y'all got to show up. Y'all got to show out. Washington Mystics, y'all got to show up. All of these fans and all of these old school fans that's been there for years, you got to hope that the new crop of fans coming are going to push these numbers up a little bit, because this is the leverage. This is the leverage that the WNBA needs for these women to be able to get the money they want to get. These are the numbers that have to go up. It's got to be more than Indiana. It's got to be more than New York and Las Vegas. It'll be interesting to see what Minnesota's attendance last year was horrible. But again, Indiana Fever, they go to the Target Center, Atlanta Dream, Indiana Fever, 19,000. And everybody dips back to 7,200. How many does the Target Center hold? Target Center, Minnesota holds 20,000. There you go. So they hold 20,000 and you got 7,000 show up for Seattle. They didn't even get a good turnout for New York. 7,000 show up for New York. Las Vegas got 7,500. Phoenix got 7,000. Dallas got 7,000. Seattle, they didn't get any good crowd participation until Indiana came to town. Then Atlanta comes to town. I wonder what made Atlanta blow up like that, though. Carryover, I guess. I don't know. Then Indiana Fever comes to town again. Then they get 19,000. Chicago Sky, only 8,000. Twice. LA Sparks. So in this particular case, Indiana and Atlanta, these other teams got to be able to push the envelope and figure out a way to promote and get butts in seats, because that is what's going to drive the CBA. The basketball is going to be phenomenal. They got to get the ref thing together, but I think they'll address that. I hope. But they got to get butts in seats. The basketball is just going to be fine. Everybody going to be following Caitlin Clark. You got all of them Angel Reese fans going to be following Angel Reese. Everybody's going to be following Paige Beckers because they want to see what she's going to do down in Dallas with Enrique. So they're in a good situation where they can really drive their viewership up and prove all these haters wrong. That nobody watches women's basketball, all that mess. They got to chill on all of this attitude from Caitlin Clark fans, and I don't like that she's in the front and our girl is better. It ain't about who's the best basketball player. It's about who brings the most eyes to the sport. And right now, that person is Caitlin Clark, period. Ain't nobody else even close. Asia can get mad. Angel can get mad. It doesn't matter. The audience will tell you what they're looking for. This has nothing to do with who's good and who's not. Everybody's talking about Indiana is the favorite to win the title. I don't believe that until I see them on the court. All this other stuff is paper tiger. You don't know what they got. Everybody in the league is on notice. Whoever's the head of the WNBA Players Association, y'all need to have a come to Jesus meeting and collectively as the players in the league, y'all got to even this thing out so the optics look right, because the optics is what's going to drive the traffic and the viewership. Just like I mentioned before, in the All-Star game last year, when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese finally played together, sparks was flying. The people at the stadium went nuts. And all the girl did was give her a pass, and Angel Reese finished it. Angel Reese ends up getting a double-double, and she did her thing. Caitlin did her thing. That's all anybody wants to see. That's going to drive traffic. But if the players don't collectively put out a good product and the optics have got to be right, people still going to be coming with these false narratives. Angel Reese hates everybody. Everybody's going after Caitlin Clark. They're going to keep fueling those false narratives. So the fan base, y'all got to step up. All the people that say they love Angel Reese, y'all better start buying them tickets. All the people that say they love Paige Beckers when she comes in the league and they want to swear up and down she better than Caitlin Clark or whoever, y'all got to show up. And this is going to be the leverage that the WNBA needs to get the money they're trying to get in the next CBA deal.